Hey guys, Jay here, and today we're going to be going over how I made Noel's guns from BlazBlue. Alright, so this is going to be kind of a tutorial, but kind of not. I can't give you a real tutorial step by step, like showing you the steps exactly like I used to do. So this is going to be a little bit different. I'm pretty much going to talk to you about how I made it. Pretty much give you the tips and advice on what I did to create this, as well as, you know, all the materials and all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty much going to put the camera like face down on my table so that you guys can see everything. But I do want to say one thing: the main material that was used for this is foam board, and that would be this stuff right here. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but this is the foam board that I used, and it is two-sided, like poster board, like plasticky poster board, like satin finish almost poster board with foam in between it. So that's what I used for the main body of everything, and there's a lot of kind of thin pieces to kind of square everything out. But that's pretty much it for the base materials. But the rest of it I can show you with the camera down, so we're gonna go right onto that. So I'm just gonna go over some basic materials that I used for this, except for the paint. The paint you can pretty much pick whatever you want. You can mask it off however you want, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not gonna really show you how to paint or anything, but I did do one base paint in gray. It was the entire thing in gray, and then I went back over it with the white, and then did the black and all the other color, literally the rest of the grays, the grip, which is a brownish red, and all the black I did by hand. So and then I'll tell you also how to get the indents and all that stuff in there too. So let's move on to the materials. So for all gluing, I did hot glue. Obviously, why? Hot glue is really good for really anything that isn't plastic, basically. And this type of material that the board is made of is pretty much really good with hot glue, and it sticks really well. So I would suggest hot glue. But then for big areas, like the entirety of the gun sections, you're going to want wood glue. And so Elmer's wood glue is perfect for that, because just like the hot glue, this stuff is kind of porous or whatever. The reason that glue works on things, you know, the reason that it works here is because of that. So when you're cutting it out, you're basically going to be cutting out big pieces, so you're going to want to glue those down. The wood glue does really well for that. So we're going to need some fun foam, some craft foam. This is just regular old bendable craft foam, just stuff you get at Walmart. This kind is actually sticky back, and you can peel it off and it'll be sticky underneath on this side. This actually adheres itself to the poster board perfectly, and is almost impossible to get back off. So once you put it down and kind of press it down, it stays. And as you'll notice from the guns, it's on there pretty damn well, and it looks seamless. So that's really good to use these craft foams. If you want to, you can glue them down with the hot glue. It will work the same, but it doesn't really matter. But then you're going to want to also make little these are like screw caps, where the caps of the screws would be, so you don't have screws just right there. And then I also did some, like one here, and then I did some at the ends here, and I did that on both sides. And those I just did the same exact thing. So what I did was I took this little, I have this little flashlight here, this little pocket flashlight, and I just pressed it down in and just dug away at it until it, and actually that made a little bit of a mark there, until it cut through. And this stuff is, these are like dollar store ones, and they're really sharp on the ends. But if you don't have sharp ones and you want to heat, you can heat them up and press through, and it'll work pretty well too. So that's really good for doing that. And then obviously your knife or your scissors, the X-Acto knife, or my X-Acto knives are kind of put away, so I don't want to get to them right now. But X-Acto knives or box cutters. And box cutters, you need to change the blade a lot. They're more expensive. So I'd be careful with these. But then you also have your marker, and this one my friend gave me at SoccerCon. But a marker, pen, something to mark with, obviously. And last but not least, to seal everything before you paint it, because you're going to need to do that, is Mod Podge. And I use the hard coat, and this is the purple kind. Get some good lighting. There you go. You can see that right there. This is the best one that I use. I actually used this on the Darui, or Darui, whatever his name is, from Naruto sword commission that I did, that I have another tutorial for. This is the stuff that I used on that one. So yeah, great stuff. Alright, now to talk about how to actually make it. You're pretty much going to be doing a lot of shape work. You don't have to do like I did. I made like these lines here, these exhaust vent things here, these lines. You know, you don't have to do all those. They aren't on the official design. They're on my design because I found a picture, and I'll post the picture obviously. And this picture was really detailed and I really liked it, so I used that one. I don't know where it comes from, or how official it is or unofficial, but it's the one I like the best and it stands out. So that's what I really like. Oh, and then these. I forgot about these things. These little, whatever you'd call those. I don't know what they are, but I bought these. They're little eyes. They're kind of like googly eyes, but they're not. They're resin cast. And they're just little, I don't know, I got them at Michael's. So, I don't know, they're like $3. So those I used on the bottom for this. If you can find something or make your own, that would probably be better. And the paint job on this really sucks because of how the glue had to dry to hold them on. But I did use hot glue and they glued on just fine, so don't worry about that. And you will notice that it's really rough on the inner edges. That's something you can fix, but that I didn't. The reason that mine are like that, pretty much are just because I didn't have a new blade when I did it, so it ripped a lot of the foam inside, and then when I sanded it down, it just didn't help. So I don't know, but whatever, I guess. Oh, and then the chamber here is also foam. That's just a piece of the sticky craft foam just stuck onto it, and then just made to fit over it, and then obviously the Mod Podge over that. So now onto the, like, what you're making with that picture, what that picture's for. What I did was I happened to have a TV screen for a monitor. I have a 32-inch LCD TV that I use as a monitor, because I have two, because my brother sold me his. And when I clicked on that picture that I this picture here, when I blew it up to, like, when you click on it to zoom, it literally was the exact size I needed to fit my hand around it. It was perfect sized. So it might not be for you. I can't help you with that. You guys are gonna have to print them out and figure it out yourselves, or draw it out and figure that out for your guys selves. I can't really tell you how to do that. There's nothing I can really say there. Anyway, but there are two layers pretty much. So what I did was I traced out the entirety of the top, like of just the entire thing, and then I took more paper and then traced again what would be the underside, so that you get two different, let me see here. So like here is the first one, and you can see what I'm talking about here. This is where you can see the black has it's indented a little bit, so it's smaller than the rest of it. I made it so that this sheet fit smaller like that. So what I did was I just traced around the entire design small enough to fit to where this top would be bigger than it, and then I just cut out the top shape itself. And then when I cut out the top shape, I cut out this piece here so that the chamber piece was the same piece as the black piece. And then when I folded the foam over it, it made it a little bit thicker so that it doesn't look like it's exactly that piece. So that's how I did that. This gray here is literally just a straight line that I pressed down the edges. So if you can see, the edges are curved on these. That's because I just took the edges of them and just flattened them out so that they made a dome shape. So I have some right here actually, and all I did was this. You can see it's flattening out towards the end now. That's all I did on both sides, and then just glued it down, then cut these out, did the exact same thing, and then this is how I placed them. It's kind of hard to tell, but so you can see exactly where these are placed compared to the longer one, and this one is on the thing going down. So these would be kind of like, she doesn't do this in the game, but when you pull back, maybe it's for like a misfire, you could pull it back and it'll disengage the shell from the chamber. Maybe that's what they're for in that game. I don't know exactly, but either way, when you pull the trigger, it's supposed to pull back and release. But anyway, then this is literally just another 4 pieces of that foam board glued together and shaped to fit around this. So I made it so that this went in too deep, and then this top layer was cut off. So like the top layer was like this. So that end was just cut off from the 2 top layers, from this side and this side, and then this slides on into those other 2, and so when you glue it on, it stays on. And then these are just circles that I cut out of that same foam. There's one circle that's about the size of a quarter, maybe, for me anyway. It's around that size. And then the second one is the same, and then in the center I just did that thing with the flashlight again, and then so that way I could use some of the ones from here and just repurpose them. So that always works. It always helps when it works out like that. And in this part right here, this is just 2 more pieces of board that I just cut to the same shape, and then just glued them together and glued them on, and that was really it. And this I used wood glue for because I don't want them to fall off, so they're really tough on there, so they're not going to fall off. But anyway, when you get to the part where you want to put any of this kind of stuff in, so what I did was I just, before I glued everything on, I kind of scored it a little bit, so that way there's like, you can hear it stopping there. That's where it indents, because I did cut it. These I did actually cut out all the way for the top layer, and then just put a brush in there with black and painted around it, and then painted white around the outside again when I got black on the outside. But this I had to mask off completely, like to be a line. Like, okay, so I had to go masking off a whole line like this, then painting on with a brush a line, and then masking off again, painting a line, and I had to do that for each one of the lines. Every single one had to be separately painted on, and it was really annoying. So if you really don't want to do that, you don't have to. You don't need to have any of these black lines that I have, the exhaust vents or whatever those are, or these 3, I guess, screw holders. I don't know what they would be called, because those aren't in the official design. It just looks cooler. I don't know. But anyway, you don't actually need these either, because these aren't in the official design either. But anyway, but that's pretty much how I made the entire thing. Yeah, so, I mean, I know this is going to be a little bit weird of a, or it has been a little weird of a walkthrough. I've never done one like this, but I really didn't want to make a third one of these because this was actually really hard. So what had happened was, I've never done this way before. I've never done this. So I was kind of just, it was a shot in the dark, and it just happened to work. Hello. Sorry about that. Phone call. Anyway, but yeah, this was kind of a weird tutorial thing, I guess. But hopefully this does help you guys. If you guys like this, maybe I'll do some more on things that I've already made. I do have quite a few other props that I made that I can do walkthroughs for. So if you guys want to see more of these type of things, let me know in the comments below. Also, if you want to see more of these, let me know what to do different, because this is the first walkthrough that I've done for a prop. I've never done a walkthrough like this, so if you guys have any comments on how to better word things, or things like that, or things that you guys don't need to really care about hearing about, then let me know in the comments too, so that I can make these a little more professional and a little better for you guys, so you guys can learn without me kind of being annoying, I guess. But anyway, that's it for this. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.